Useless. It's a very, very powerful word, and when you attach it to something in Call of Duty, notice I said attach, well, you get some things that people wonder why they were even put in the game. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and today we focus on the useless. The useless attachments. Now, attachments are supposed to make your weapon better. They are. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. And today, we're going to go over the most absolutely useless, no matter where you put them, attachments in COD history. Drop a like, and let's jump right into it. At number 10, the Calvary Lancer Barrel in Black Ops Cold War. The Gunsmith, it brought a lot of additional customization options to Call of Duty with lots of attachments for every single weapon in the game, but not all those attachments were necessarily helpful, and the Calvary Lancer Barrel kind of highlights what we're talking about here. This barrel was available on a lot of weapons in Cold War, and it would give you increased damage towards vehicles and score streaks, similar to how FMJ worked in older COD games, but minus the cover penetration. Now in Cold War, you just weren't going up against vehicles often enough to want a barrel that would help you destroy them, and when it came to score streaks, people just ran launchers and SAM turrets, and they did the job perfectly well. The Lancer felt like a filler attachment, something that was there to increase the number of available attachments on each gun, but didn't actually get much field usage. Just didn't do very much, and yeah, that's why it was useless. One thing that is not useless is code Chaos for G Fuel. It's been juiced to 30% right now. The link is in the description, and that includes the new Fusion, or the Flavor Fusion tubs that you can get. Sour Cherry and Blue Ice Fusion together. 30% off if you guys take advantage. Tweet at me, Facebook me, email me. Let me know so I can show you some love as well. 30% off, code Chaos. Link is at the top of the description. Now, let's get back to the useless stuff. At number 9, the silencer in Modern Warfare 2. Now, before you dislike this video, let me explain. I'm not saying all silencers in MW2 are useless, but if you played back in the day, you know that quite a few of them were. Because Modern Warfare 2 was such a mess, a lot of things weren't exactly working as intended. One of those was the silencer. In most COD games, it works to reduce the sound of your gun firing and get rid of that muzzle flash while also keeping you off enemy radars when you pull the trigger. But Modern Warfare 2 silencer, it was a mixed bag. There was quite a few guns where the silencer didn't actually make your gun quieter, and then there were some others that the silencer didn't work at all, and due to the falling out between Activision and Infinity Ward following the release of the game, the silencers were never actually fixed. So if you boot the game up right now and you test them, you'll quickly find out that quite a few of them, they don't even work. Makes them completely useless and very worthy of being on today's list. At number 8, the infrared scope in Black Ops 1. Now, the original Black Ops is one of my favorite all-time games, but I can admit it wasn't perfect. The infrared was available on a handful of weapons, and it was almost completely useless on all of them. It was similar to a thermal scope, but it would highlight enemies in bright white against a weird static blue background that was super unpleasant to look at. Plus, if the target was running Ghost Pro, which almost everybody was, they wouldn't show up at all. The scope itself was huge. Took up a giant chunk of the screen when you weren't aiming down the sight, so it was very likely that an enemy was going to run right by you and you wouldn't see them until it was too late. It was obstructive, ugly, and often completely counterproductive. I think it was one of the least used attachments in the entire game. At number 7, slug rounds in Modern Warfare 2019. Now, slug shotguns are extremely hit or miss in COD. On one hand, you have the KSG from Black Ops 2. On the other hand, you have the slug rounds attachment in this game. These were available for most of the shotties, and it would turn your buckshot into a slug round, making the hitbox much smaller and forcing you to aim a lot more precisely. But in return, you would get better damage, or at least that's what was supposed to happen. As many of you probably know, the slugs in Modern Warfare were extremely hit or miss, and because of how inconsistent they were super rare to see. Yes, they extended the range of your shotty, but the damage seemed to be completely random. Sometimes you would one-shot somebody from 100 yards away. Other times you would tickle them. With the amount of precision the slug rounds demanded from you, they weren't worth it. I mean, why would I put a high-risk, high-skill attachment on my gun if it did not give me consistent results? I wouldn't. At number 6, rapid fire in COD World War II. Now, I don't know if you guys really realize just how useless it was in the game, but I'm going to break it down for you. Throughout COD history, the rapid fire attachment has been pretty powerful, and you notice the effects rather easily. Back in Modern Warfare 2 and 3, rapid fire would increase your gun's rate by 25%. In the original Black Ops, it would boost your fire rate by 33%. Heck, in Black Ops 2, it would increase your fire rate by 51%. So, how much of a boost did you get from it in COD World War II? 6.38%. That's it. Considering how slow most of the guns were in the game, there was a good chance you wouldn't even notice your weapon had rapid fire on it at all. A lot of guns barely got a 20 RPM increase from rapid fire. Your time to kill, it wasn't affected. It seemed like a really good attachment in the game because of how slow the weapons fire, but since you were getting such a pathetic increase to your fire rate, it was useless. At number 5, select fire on the SWAT 5.56 in Black Ops 2. It was introduced to COD in Black Ops 2 as an attachment. It gave you a little bit of extra variety in your gameplay. By putting burst on a full auto weapon, it would convert it to a 3-round burst with better accuracy, but by putting select fire on a burst or a semi-auto gun, you would turn it to a full auto. Sounds awesome. Well, sometimes. The SWAT was a 3-round burst rifle that a lot of people hated because of the low fire rate and somewhat inconsistent damage, but if you put the select fire on it, it became borderline unusable in core game modes. I mean, yes, it turned the SWAT into a full auto, but it also silently nerfed your damage. It also increased your recoil, and it turned down your range. This meant the full auto SWAT could only get a 3-shot kill at point blank range, and it fired pretty slowly, making it one of the worst full autos in the game. Now, in hardcore modes, it was okay, but if you're playing core, it was really, really bad. I mean, the Black Ops 2 select fire had hidden value to it, but it was not with the SWAT. At number 4, the burst in Modern Warfare 2019. Speaking of select fire and things of that. Now, did you guys know you could turn any assault rifle in the game into a 3-round burst? You probably forgot all about it because it was a bad strategy. Almost every assault rifle in Modern Warfare 2019 has a perk called burst, and it changed it from a full auto to a 3-round, but it didn't affect your damage values. Now, most burst weapons in COD are capable of killing with 3 bullets, so you get that oh-so-satisfying 1-burst kill, but if you're using the burst perk in this game, you quickly find out that a lot of guns aren't even capable of 1-burst kills, which makes the perk useless. The Kilo 141, the M4A1, the M13, the Ram 7, and the GRA could all be turned into 3-round burst rifles, despite the fact they take more than 3 shots to kill, so you often land all your shots and then you get melted in the time it takes for you to pull the trigger again. So it's cool, but, I mean, it was cool. They gave you freedom in the gun customization, but they probably should have done a little extra testing on that one. At number 3, the snub nose in Black Ops 1. Raise your hand if you actually used it. Seriously. It was an attachment available on one gun, the Python. Now, the Python was a fan favorite. 6-shot revolver, consistent 2-shot kill, easily the best sidearm in the game. But the snub nose attachment, it would decrease the recoil to make it more accurate, but it would also decrease the range, which made 2-shot kills very hard to do. So you tell me, why would you use it? Why would anyone take a revolver into battle if it didn't consistently get a 2-shot kill? Plus, the recoil on the Python wasn't that hard to control, so having an attachment that decreased the recoil at the cost of range, it wasn't worth it. Then in addition to all of that, you could only have one attachment on pistols in the original Black Ops, and since everybody was going to run the speed loader, you never saw the snub nose. Some would say it got snubbed. At number 2, the recoil compensator in Ghost. With a name like recoil compensator, you would think it's actually good, but sadly, you are wrong. It was an integral attachment exclusive to bolt-action rifles in Ghost that would decrease the kick of each shot for every kill you got. Now, every time you got a kill with the USR or the L115, your recoil would decrease. Now, aside from that just not making any sense, those were bolt-action weapons, so who really cared about recoil? An attachment like this would be awesome on an SMG or an assault rifle, but not a bolt-action. Who cares about recoil on a bolt? Nobody. So not only did this attachment make no logical sense, but it was also completely useless because it was reducing the kick on weapons that could be fired with 1 bullet. All right. And at number 1, optics on akimbo. I mean, seriously. There have been a few COD games that allowed you to put optical attachments on guns while running them in akimbo mode, and it's always been for the memes. If you're running a gun in akimbo form, you can actually aim down the sights, but some games still give you the option to put red dots or ACOG sights on those weapons. Optics on akimbo weapons are, well, plain and simple, useless, and I don't think anybody's going to argue with me dropping them at number 1 today. They are funny, though. There you have it. Let me know one attachment that deserved to be on this list that didn't make it, and I'll see you guys soon.